was living by, a code. And that code was, get them before they get you.
After years of speculation, some fans think Big U just broke his silence and admitted he had something to do with Nipsey Hussle's death. But why come out now? He has been denying the accusations for years. What has him so afraid? Let's get into it. Big U's betrayal. When rumors started circulating about his possible involvement in Nipsey Hussle's death, Big U remained publicly silent. It wasn't until 2021, almost 2 years after Nipsey's murder, that he finally addressed the speculation in a candid interview on the popular podcast Drink Champs.
We ain't got no beef. Right. Period. We never stopped talking. Right. We didn't go 2 days with nothing. We didn't have nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Right. All the way up until he signed a deal with Atlantic Records.
In this significant moment, Big U directly confronted the rumors head-on with an emphatic denial. "We ain't got no beef, period," he stated with unwavering certainty, rejecting any notion of conflict between himself and Nipsey. According to Big U, their relationship remained intact and positive throughout Nipsey's rise to fame, contrary to the swirling rumors of tension. During this same interview, Big U painted a picture of ongoing communication and collaboration with Nipsey right up until significant developments in the rapper's career. He specifically mentioned that they remained in regular contact until Nipsey signed with Atlantic Records, a milestone that would prove to be transformative for Nipsey's career trajectory. Far from suggesting any distance or animosity following this career advancement, Big U claimed that Nipsey actually flew him to New York to celebrate this significant achievement. This gesture, if accurate, would seem to contradict narratives of growing tension between the two figures.
He called me and said, let's go.
Celebrate.
What the f is the beef at?
Right.
He fly me to New York. Right. I'm in the video.
Right.
One particularly compelling piece of evidence Big U offered to counter accusations was his appearance in Nipsey's music video for Rap, the first single from Nipsey's critically acclaimed album, Victory Lap.
I am promoting Victory Lap on my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Right. All these weirdos who became Nipsey fans, they weren't promoting this. Right. I'm the one promoting that.
Nipsey Hussle, born Ermias Joseph Asgadom, was a rapper from South Los Angeles. He became a symbol of hope and hustle because of his powerful mixtapes like The Marathon and his Grammy-nominated album Victory Lap. But his legacy went far beyond music. Nipsey poured back into his neighborhood, opening the Marathon clothing store at Crenshaw and Slauson, and investing in local businesses as part of a bigger mission: community empowerment through ownership. But behind the scenes, one key figure helped shape that rise: Eugene Big U Henley. While Big U's background was rooted in the street life of the rolling 60s neighborhood Crips, a path that led to a 13-year prison stint. He later pivoted toward mentorship and community involvement. And when it came to Nipsey, Big U claims he played an instrumental role. More than just a figure from the sidelines, Big U described how he actively pushed Nipsey's music, promoting his album across Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. He spoke of spending 5 days in the studio, working on a planned post-album mixtape with Nipsey, signaling a creative partnership that many fans never knew existed. According to Big U, he wasn't just a spectator. He was a supporter, a collaborator, and in some ways a gatekeeper who helped open doors for Nipsey in those early stages. In the same revealing Drink Champs interview, Big U didn't just deny the accusations. He actively challenged the credibility of those making them. With evident frustration, he characterized the sources of these rumors as weirdos and ignorant people who were essentially exploiting Nipsey's tragic death for personal gain. But this was him, a couple of months before saying this, mocking the death of Nipsey.
Justice for Nipsey.
Matter of fact, Big U used Nipsey's name and death to make money, which was just downright evil. One of the most persistent conspiracy theories connecting Big U to Nipsey's murder revolved around his alleged relationship with Eric Holder, known as Shitty Cuz, who was ultimately convicted of Nipsey's murder. Big U adamantly rejected any connection, stating unequivocally that he didn't know Holder and emphasizing that at his age 54 years old, he simply doesn't associate with younger gang members. In a particularly poignant moment during the interview, Big U challenged the public to critically examine the motives of those propagating these theories about his involvement. He specifically urged listeners to question those profiting off Nipsey's death, implying that financial gain rather than truth-seeking was driving many of these accusations. To further counter narratives that painted him as adversarial to Nipsey, Big U made a striking claim about their relationship, asserting that he alone honored and awarded Nipsey while alive. This statement positioned Big U not as an antagonist, but as one of Nipsey's most consistent supporters during his lifetime. Fast forward, to 2025, and the narrative surrounding Big U and Nipsey Hussle took another dramatic turn. Big U found himself at the center of serious federal charges, with authorities accusing him of operating a mafia-like enterprise. These RICO charges included allegations connecting him to the 2021 murder of aspiring rapper Rayshawn Williams, intensifying scrutiny of his potential involvement in other violent acts. Amidst this legal storm, former death row rapper SKG, Suge Knight Girl, made explosive allegations to media outlets, claiming that Big U had something to do with Nipsey's murder. Her accusations went beyond mere speculation, alleging a history of abuses and extortion that painted a troubling picture of Big U's operations within the industry and community. As the pressure mounted, Big U prepared to turn himself in to authorities. In a powerful moment captured on video, he made what he described as potentially his last video before surrendering to federal authorities.
So this is gonna probably be my last video. I'm gonna go turn myself in to see what's going on. They talking about I'm a fugitive. So they just raided all my houses.
In this emotional address, Big U made general denials of wrongdoing, though notably without specific reference to Nipsey Hussle's murder allegations. Instead, his focus remained on the broader RICO charges and what he characterized as systematic targeting of his community work.
But I'm going to go turn myself in though, because I ain't did nothing. The fact is, man, they done went to my house, kicked my houses in, bust my doors down, bust my window. They calling my son at his football practice, threatening him.
A consistent theme throughout Big U's defense was positioning himself as a community leader, being targeted precisely because of his positive influence. He portrayed himself as someone who had been nothing but a help to our community, and characterized the legal action against him as the price of being black and trying to help somebody, trying to help your community and do what you can.
This the price of being black and trying to help somebody, trying to help your community and do what you can. You're just guilty because somebody else don't like you and they go on the internet and do what they want to, and y'all gonna promote it. It's crazy.
What remains particularly notable about Big U's 2025 statements is what wasn't said. Despite the renewed allegations connecting him specifically to Nipsey Hussle's murder, particularly from SKG, our research indicates that Big U did not directly address these accusations in his pre-surrender video or other public statements from this period. This absence of specific denial regarding Nipsey's murder, contrasting with his earlier explicit denials from 2021, has fueled further speculation among fans and commentators. Looking at Big U and Nipsey Hussle's relationship, we find a complicated narrative that defies simple characterization. Big U undoubtedly played a significant role in Nipsey Hussle's early career, helping launch the young artist in the music industry while navigating the complex dynamics of street life in Los Angeles. Both men shared connections to the rolling 60s neighborhood Crips, and their relationship was widely acknowledged as one of mentorship, with Nipsey frequently crediting Big U for guidance throughout various stages of his career development. However, this relationship wasn't without its challenges. Reports indicate there were tensions between them, most notably a 2011 parking lot altercation involving Nipsey, his brother Black Sam, and the LAPD, suggesting that their association had experienced significant strain at points. Despite these reported tensions, Big U has consistently portrayed himself as a community leader through his organization, Developing Options, aimed at empowering youth, often alongside Nipsey himself. This parallel community work adds another layer of complexity to understanding the true nature of their relationship in the years preceding Nipsey's murder. SKG accuses Big U of Nipsey's death. While Eric Holder was convicted of Nipsey Hussle's murder, another voice has emerged with serious accusations against Big U. Alicia Choice, known as SKG or Suge Knight Girl, has directly accused Big U of being behind Nipsey's death. To understand her claims, we should first look at who SKG is and her history with both Nipsey and Big U. As a former Death Row Records rapper connected to Suge Knight, hence her nickname, SKG has been around the Los Angeles hip-hop scene for decades. Her accusations against Big U gained significant attention after his March 2025 arrest on RICO charges. The timing of her most vocal accusations has led some to question her motives. Is she taking advantage of Big U's legal troubles, or did his arrest finally make her feel safe enough to speak up? In a December 2023 interview with Tasha K, SKG claimed that Nipsey Hussle had set her up to be physically assaulted by Big U while she was pregnant.
Well, you know, he jumped on me. He lured me over to Nipsey Hussle's shop. He jumped on me while I was pregnant, beat me up, made me go to another part of the neighborhood. I got jumped by 3 girls. I still have a scar on my back from that incident.
According to her, this assault happened after Big U was embarrassed during a meeting with LA radio station K-Day. In a more recent interview on No Jumper, SKG described the incident in detail. She explained that she was working at K-Day radio station and had initially brought Big U and Nipsey Hussle into her professional circle.
Now I'm like, oh, well, I have a little homeboy and he's starting to rap and he's doing music. I want to plug him over here because I'm at the radio station. Oh, Big U is over here. Let me bring him over here because I'm at the radio station. I'm already in position, right? It was never it wasn't valuable for me to work with him to where I benefited because I was already SKG.
According to SKG, after a business disagreement with Big U regarding a community project, Nipsey called her weeks later asking for promotional posters she had for him. When she went to Nipsey's shop, she claimed she was ambushed.
I walk in the shop, him and Fats, they're out at the counter. I walk up, I'm talking to him and I just hear the click, click. And it was like I knew. That was that. I just knew. It's like, it's a setup.
Oh, wow. Click, click, like somebody had a gun drawn on you?
No, click, click. They closed the door.
Oh,
click,
they
click.
locked it. Okay.
This isn't a new allegation. SKG has apparently been telling this story for years, claiming that Nipsey and his friend, Stephen Fats Donaldson, arranged for her to be ambushed and beaten by Big U. The fact that she's maintained this story consistently gives it some credibility, though it's worth asking why these serious allegations didn't lead to legal action at the time. Interestingly, SKG claims that despite this violent history, she and Nipsey eventually made peace years later. During their reconciliation meeting, she warned Nipsey about potential danger, telling him, "Something's gonna happen to you if you don't move from over here." When Nipsey asked why she would say that, SKG responded, "Because they don't respect you." She discussed this on the No Jumper podcast on April 1st, 2025, suggesting she saw threats to Nipsey's safety before his murder. Despite their complicated history, SKG has said she was so hurt when she learned of Nipsey's death in 2019, showing she still had an emotional connection to him despite their past issues. After Big U's arrest in March 2025, SKG's accusations became more direct. In an interview with TMZ on March 21st, 2025, she explicitly accused Big U of being involved in Nipsey's murder, saying Big U definitely has something to do with the killing. She called for justice for Nipsey and expressed hope that Big U would be connected to the murder, though law enforcement hasn't confirmed any such link as of May 1st, 2025. SKG's accusations directly challenged the official story of Nipsey's death. While Eric Holder was convicted of the shooting, SKG suggests there was a larger conspiracy, with Holder just being the person who pulled the trigger for someone else. When asked why she's so sure about Big U's involvement, SKG has hinted at insider knowledge, saying the public would be shocked when details come out. She points to jealousy as a main motive, suggesting Big U couldn't handle seeing Nipsey's growing success and influence. The timing of SKG's most vocal accusations, after Big U's arrest on other charges, has made some people skeptical. Her supporters point to how consistent her story has been over the years, while critics note the convenient timing and lack of hard evidence beyond her personal account. It's worth noting that SKG mentioned Nipsey denied setting her up for the assault during their reconciliation. This suggests a more nuanced situation. Perhaps Nipsey wasn't directly responsible, but was caught in a complicated power dynamic. If true, this might explain why she felt genuine sadness at his death despite their troubled past. SKG's accusations go beyond Nipsey's murder to paint a broader picture of Big U as a threatening figure in the Crenshaw community. In various interviews, she has claimed that Big U terrorized her and others for years, alleging he extorted local businesses and used violence to maintain control. She stated that she feels safer since his arrest, suggesting she's been afraid to speak out for a long time. When we look at potential motives for Big U to target Nipsey, a few possibilities come up. First, there's the question of financial control. As Nipsey's career and business grew, did he become less dependent on former mentors? The music industry has a history of conflicts when artists try to break away from controlling influences. Then there's community influence. Nipsey wasn't just making money. He was becoming a symbol of positive change in his community. For someone used to maintaining control through fear, such genuine community respect might have been threatening in a different way. Finally, there's the possibility of lingering bad feelings from their 2011 conflict. While they apparently made up by 2016, deep grudges don't always go away completely. The violent nature of their original falling out suggests emotions that might not be easily resolved. Law enforcement hasn't publicly connected Big U to Nipsey's murder, and it's important to remember the presumption of innocence. Eric Holder remains convicted as the killer, and no charges have been filed linking Big U to the crime. Whether SKG's accusations will ever lead to further investigation is unknown. In his interview, Big U spoke about his evolution after prison and his desire to change his legacy.
No, I know it.
I
want to balance. I don't want to be remembered for being this negative force. You know what I mean? I don't wanna live my life and the only thing you can remember about Big U is he was this, he was that, he was this, he was that.
Some critics have questioned SKG's own motives. Her connections to Suge Knight, himself a controversial figure with a history of alleged violence in the music industry, raise questions about potential biases. Others wonder if her accusations are more about settling old scores than seeking justice. This situation reflects broader themes in hip-hop: loyalty, betrayal, mentorship dynamics, and the complex power structures that often operate behind the scenes. These patterns have affected many lives in an industry that sometimes blurs the lines between street credibility and dangerous criminal connections. Whatever the truth of these allegations, one thing is clear: Nipsey Hussle's death created a huge void in hip-hop that goes well beyond music. His murder took away a community leader, silenced a voice for economic empowerment, and devastated fans who saw in him a different model for success, one that involved investing in his community rather than leaving it behind. Nipsey's death was a devastating loss. It was a moment that shook the entire hip-hop community. It made people take a step back and really think about what he represented, both in music and beyond. So let's look at how Nipsey's death affected hip-hop. Hip-hop mourned a heavy loss. When Nipsey Hussle was killed on March 31st, 2019, his death had ripple effects throughout hip-hop that continue to this day. The most immediate impact was a huge surge in his music's popularity, as fans both old and new connected with his work. In the weeks after his murder, his album Victory Lap reached a new peak of #2 on the Billboard 200, an achievement he never got to see. His single, Racks in the Middle, featuring Roddy Ricch and Hit Boy, climbed to #26 on the Hot 100 and won Best Rap Performance at the 2020 Grammy Awards. While it's common for artists to see increased attention after death, the response to Nipsey's passing went beyond typical posthumous interest. Major artists across hip-hop created tributes that showed just how widely his influence had spread. Kendrick Lamar demonstrated this impact powerfully. In his 2022 song, The Heart Part 5, Kendrick used deepfake technology to morph into Nipsey's image while rapping from his perspective. This wasn't just a standard tribute, it was Kendrick's attempt to let Nipsey's voice continue to be heard. At Nipsey's memorial service, Kendrick wrote a letter recalling their early touring days together, revealing a friendship that went back to their early careers. Other artists like Snoop Dogg, Nipsey Blue, and Big Sean, Deep Reverence, created musical tributes, while the 2020 Grammy Awards featured a performance by DJ Khaled, John Legend, Meek Mill, Roddy Ricch, and YG honoring Nipsey. Beyond music, Nipsey's death had real impacts on his community. In one of the most significant developments, gang leaders used his murder as a catalyst for peace, leading to ceasefires between rival gangs in LA and Compton. These truces reportedly involved hundreds of people and were compared to similar peace efforts after the 1992 LA riots. This peacemaking effect is one of the most powerful parts of Nipsey's legacy. Someone who came from gang culture had become such a positive force that even in death he inspired former rivals to set aside long-standing conflicts. Nipsey's business vision also continued after his death. His Marathon clothing store stayed open, and in September 2019, the AMB store opened on Crenshaw Boulevard, continuing his community-based business approach. Puma released a Marathon clothing collection with proceeds going to the neighborhood NIP Foundation, ensuring his community work could continue. This approach to business has influenced many hip-hop artists to reconsider how they invest their money. Rather than just endorsing existing brands or creating vanity labels, more artists have followed Nipsey's model of building businesses that directly employ and serve their communities. Los Angeles itself changed to honor Nipsey's memory. Within months of his death, over 50 murals dedicated to him appeared throughout the city. The intersection of Slauson Avenue and Crenshaw Boulevard was renamed Ermias Nipsey Hussle Asghedom Square, permanently marking the corner he had worked to transform. Further recognizing his impact, the Hyde Park station on the K-Line was dedicated to him in August 2022, and he received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame that same month. These official recognitions show how Nipsey went beyond being just a successful musician to become a civic icon whose contributions warranted permanent commemoration. Even his intellectual side left a mark. Local chapters of the Marathon Book Club formed, inspired by Nipsey's reading list, creating spaces where community members could engage with the same ideas that shaped his thinking. This part of his legacy is particularly meaningful because it encourages intellectual growth alongside economic empowerment, the two key elements of Nipsey's vision for community transformation. His story has also been preserved through various media. TV shows like All American referenced him, and a Netflix documentary co-produced by Ava Ava DuVernay was announced, ensuring future generations would learn about his philosophy and impact. The influence extended beyond music into sports, with NBA player Russell Westbrook dedicating a 2020 game on April 2, 2019 to Nipsey's memory. This cross-cultural impact shows how Nipsey's message connected with successful black men across different fields who recognized in him someone who had stayed connected to his community despite achieving personal success. Perhaps most importantly, Nipsey's death caused reflection within. Hip-hop about violence, gang culture, and artists' responsibilities to their communities. Industry conversations shifted noticeably after his murder, with more prominent voices questioning whether authenticity needs to involve ongoing street connections. What makes Nipsey's impact unique is how it goes beyond the usual remembrance of fallen artists. Rather than just being remembered for his music, Nipsey is celebrated for what he was building, a new approach to success that didn't require choosing between making it out and staying connected to your community. The phrase, "the marathon continues," originally Nipsey's brand slogan, has become something deeper, a philosophy for community development led by people who understand the community's needs because they've lived them. This approach is very different from development models that often push out original residents. There's a sad irony that Nipsey's death may have spread his message more widely than he could have done while alive. His murder highlighted the very contradictions he was trying to resolve: how to remain present in your community while navigating the dangers that exist in neighborhoods like South Central LA. This wider reach comes at an immeasurable cost. We can only imagine what else Nipsey might have accomplished. The businesses he would have built, the artists he would have mentored, the community changes he would have led. His death at 33 represents not just the loss of a talented musician, but the cutting short of a visionary's potential to change the relationship between success and community in hip-hop. As the official investigation concluded with Eric Holder's conviction, questions still linger about whether Holder acted alone or was part of something larger. The allegations by people like SKG against Big U reflect wider skepticism about official explanations, skepticism born from seeing how power often works behind the scenes. Whether these allegations ever lead to further legal action, they remind us of the complex and sometimes dangerous world that artists like Nipsey navigate. The line between street credibility and genuine community building can be dangerous, with forces on both sides of the law potentially threatened by those who try to transform rather than escape or exploit their communities. Ultimately, Nipsey Hussle's biggest contribution to hip-hop may be how he expanded its possibilities, showing that an artist could achieve critical acclaim, build successful businesses, and uplift his community all at the same time. He rejected the idea that you must choose between commercial success and community loyalty, creating instead a model where each supports the other. The blue wave across social media after his death, with countless profile pictures changed to Nipsey's signature color, represented more than simple mourning. It showed alignment with a philosophy that sees individual success as meaningful only when it creates opportunities for others. This perspective has influenced a new generation of hip-hop artists who increasingly measure their impact not just in sales and streams, but in jobs created and communities improved. As we consider the complex relationship between Nipsey, Big U, and the circumstances of Nipsey's death, perhaps we should accept that some questions may never be fully answered. What remains clear, however, is that in his short life, Nipsey Hussle changed hip-hop's understanding of what an artist can and should be. And that's a wrap. If you enjoyed this video, check out these other ones on your screen right now. Thanks for watching. Till next time.